radio station located at top floor, PEP Publisher Building, Felele Ibadan, Oyo State. You can listen to us live and follow us on Facebook, www.pepfmradio.com.
This is PEP Radio for quality entertainment, education, enlightenment, and information. Log on to our website on www.pepradio.com or download our app on Google Play Store. PEP FM Radio, enlightening the myriad populace.
Good morning and you're welcome to the news at 8:30 on PEP Radio, where we enlighten the myriad populace. I am Rosheedah Abdullahi. First, the headlines. Oil prices advances as China ramps up U.S. crude import. Southern Kaduna killings. Can leader meet El-Rufai says killing Saman electorate will not bring peace. Southeast not only zone deprived. Amen Ibut. Buhari, Atiku, Lawan mark El Babangida at 79. Lawyers rail against new MBC code. Unilag, why we sacked Ogundikpe Babalakin? Ibadan alleged serial killers escape from custody. COVID-19. Oshun fumigates 1,800 public private schools. IGP orders nationwide clamp down on proliferation of prohibited firearms in the country. Now the news in detail. Oil prices rose on Monday as China planned to ship in large volumes of U.S. crude oil in August and September outweighed concerns over a slowdown in demand recovery after the coronavirus pandemic and an uptick in supplies. The post-oil prices advance as China ramps up U.S. crude oil imports appeared first on Vanguard News. The president of Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Dr. Supo Ayokunle, has said he would be meeting Governor Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai on Monday over the killings in southern Kaduna. The post Southern Kaduna killings, CAN leader meet El-Rufai says killing Zamani-led work will not bring peace, appeared. First on Vanguard News. The Republic Senate President, elder statesman, and a member of the National Caucus and Board of Trustees (BOT) of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), Senator Amen Ebute Khan, in his encounter, answers questions on the several issues befalling the Nigerian state, including its politics, secret issues, and the problem of restructuring and zoning of the 2023 presidential slot. To him, not only Southeast should be considered for the presidency in 2023. President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with the former military president, General Ibrahim Babangida, on his 79th birthday. The post Buhari Atiku Lawan mark El Babangida at 79. Reactions have continued to trade the review of the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission (NBC) code with lawyers, saying yesterday that the commission lacks the power to institute criminal proceedings for any offense. The review code last week culminated in the 5 million naira imposed by the commission against Nigeria Info for offering its platform for former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Obadiah Milefia, to make the comment that a northern governor was one of the commanders of Boko Haram. Reacting yesterday, Nimi Wasinjak, former General Secretary Nigeria Bar Association, NBA, said the NBC Act states clearly that the NBC has no power to institute and carry on criminal proceedings for any offense, whether relating to a matter in relation to which there are functions. In the absence of any provision in the NBC Act, the NBC cannot make subsidiary legislation. The NBC cannot create an offense in the Broadcasting Code, wherein it is the accuser, prosecutor, judge, and executor. If the NBC's Broadcast Code turned penal code is allowed to stand, then we would have a law that discriminates to the extent that what is hate speech and fake news on radio and television is not an offense in the print media. The attempt by embassy to create a non-existing offense of hate speech to strangulate free speech and free media is the exercise of impunity in the extreme. The crisis rocking the University of Lagos UNILAG took a new turn at the weekend as chairman of the Governing Council, Dr. Wale Babalakin San, gave reasons for the removal of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe, while the local branch of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and the Committee of Vice Chancellors of Universities in Nigeria, CVC, faulted the action of the council. Babalakin, who briefed newsmen in Ikeja, not only accused Ogundipe of trampling upon all financial guidelines of the university, but called for the investigation of Ogundipe by appropriate agencies of government. Babalakin, who reeled out a long list of misconduct against Ogundipe, accused him of not following extant rules and regulations regarding the management of the resources of the university. He said, for instance, Ogundipe, without the approval of the governing council, renovated his official quarters for 49 million naira and also approved 41 million naira for the bossa to renovate his official accommodation too. This is against the regulation of the university. The financial guidelines of the University of Lagos give the Vice Chancellor the power to spend not more than 2.5 million in some instances without the approval of the governing council, and anything higher must be brought to the council for approval. That is unacceptable. It must be investigated. We need to do that for us to start building the university. And he said, I can tell you that when we probed the account of the university, it was in tatters. A suspected killer, Sunday Shodipo, who was arrested by the Oyo State Police Command in connection with serial killings in Akinyele local government area of the state, has escaped from the custody. According to the police command through the public relations officers of the command, SP Fadeyi Olubenga, the suspect was said to have escaped on 11th August. While confirming the story, the police said in a statement that the 19-year-old suspect, who had earlier been paraded, was the prime suspect in the alleged murder. The statement reads, the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Command, CP Joe Nwachuku Nwomu, wishes to state that the prime suspect in the serial killings at Akinyele local government area, Moniya, Ibadan of Oyo State, one Sunday Shodipe, 19 years, was arrested and paraded along with two others at the Oyo State Police Command on 17th July 2020, and later charged to court but remanded in the police custody, escaped from lawful custody on 11/08/2020. Consequent upon this, the CP wishes to implore the general public to be on the lookout, arrest, and immediately inform the officers and men of the command when cited for immediate hanging over for further action. In a bid to curb the rising number of the coronavirus victims in Osun, the state government has fumigated over 1,800 public and private schools in the state. This is as the State Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation, Shola Oladepo, said places of worship were also benefiting from the fumigation exercise. According to the statement issued on Sunday by the press officer in the Ministry of Environment and Sanitation, Toyin Adeoye, was to ensure the residents remain in good health. It added that Oladepo, doing an on-the-spot assessment of places of worship and public utilities, disclosed that government decided to fumigate the designated place because they were always the most visited by different people whose status cannot be certified. He added that government fumigation is done in line with the standard of the World Health Organization, which many private organizations cannot meet. He therefore urged the general public, especially school teachers, to complement government efforts by adhering strictly to the NCDC COVID-19 protocols by taking necessary precautionary measures to keep students safe within the school. the governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states, the Inspector General of Police, M.A. Adamu, has ordered a nationwide clampdown on the proliferation of prohibited firearms in the country. Adamu has also directed the commissioners of police in the country to immediately initiate appropriate actions to identify, isolate, disarm, arrest, and prosecute any individuals or groups in possession of prohibited firearms. This was contained in a statement issued and signed by Force Public Relations Officer DCP Frank Mba. The statement reads, as part of preparations towards the forthcoming gubernatorial elections in Edo and Ondo states, as well as efforts by the Police High Command to curb the proliferation of prohibited firearms in the country, the Inspector General of Police IGP M.A. Adamu MPM has ordered commissioners of police in the 36 states of the Federation and Federal Capital Territory (FCT) to immediately initiate appropriate actions to identify, isolate, disarm, arrest, and prosecute any individuals or groups in possession of prohibited firearms. Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River has commenced the construction of secondary school projects in riverine communities in the state with a view to providing a standard environment for teaching and learning. Ayade will perform the foundation laying of a 4 modern classroom blocks with 4 standard toilets and a staff room for teachers in Obio Usere community in Oduokwani local government. It said the objective was to provide basic education for residents in the area. Ayadewu was represented at the event by Dr. Ian Asibong, Commissioner for International Development Cooperation, said his administration places a premium on education, which is the bedrock of any societal development. He said, we are here for the foundation laying of the construction of 4 number classroom blocks and 4 VIP toilets in Obio Usere community in Odukpani local government area of Cross River. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria (ICAN) has called on Nigerians to embrace and patronize made-in-Nigeria products post-COVID-19. In a statement made available to Vanguard, President of ICAN, Mrs. Onome Adewi, made the call in Lagos, stating that one of the great lessons from COVID-19 pandemic and the attendant lockdown was the ingenuity displayed by Nigerians by producing their own face masks, water/slope dispensers, sanitizers, personal protective equipment, and ventilators. She stated, necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. In unison, Nigerians arose, and this points to the huge human capacity and creativity that exist in the country. The spirit of we can do it must be embraced, propagated, and seriously encouraged. Adewi advised the government to latch in on the opportunities presented by the pandemic to drive the national economic revival, adding that the effort should be reinforced through more investment in tertiary institutions to fine-tune these inventions, she said. Since the lockdown prevented many people and corporate entities from going about their value-creating activities, The hardest hits were the small and medium enterprise (SME) and SMPS. To this end, she said that the government must focus on how to support these entities and people who contribute to the most national economic growth, adding that most of the SMEs and SMPs might have consumed their capital in order to survive. In a bid to actualize the dream of establishing a seaport in Ondo State, Governor Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu SAN weekend received the outline business case (OBC), which is one of the critical requirements preceding port declaration and showcases the project as a multi-purpose deep sea port. At the occasion in Akure, Governor Akeredolu expressed satisfaction with the level of cooperation by his administration at establishing Port Ondo, saying that the confidence of the consulting firm on the viability of the project is a pointer to its eventual success. The governor said the avalanche of resources and the state is blessed with within its riverine communities, coupled with the fact that the state has the longest coastline in Nigeria, and this will make proposed port the hub for West African sub-region. He said, "This port is very important to me, to the people of the state, Nigeria, and indeed West Africa. We are going to pursue the dream with vigor," he said. Federal government has started implementing economic sustainability plan or SIBANJO. And he said, "If you have tears, prepare to shed them now." That is not original to me. The original author was Mark Antony Shakespeare. But the greatest British writer poet had provided the most appropriate opening statement in response to the announcement by Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo. What we have in Nigeria right now is not a case of the blind leading the blind. If it was so, the situation can be easily corrected. Our situation would have furnished material for a great comedy. If it does not portend a great tragedy unfolding, what we are experiencing is a puzzling case of the blind attempting to lead not only blind people like them, but clear-eyed individuals. ShopRite battles $10 million judgment debt beared from transferring assets. The Federal High Court in Lagos has made an order of Merfa injunction stopping ShopRite Checkers Pty Limited from disposing of or transferring its assets out of jurisdiction over a $10 million judgment debt. ShopRite has announced its plan to exit Nigeria. The Marfa injunction made by Justice Mohammed Lyman was in favor of a Nigerian firm, AIC Limited, which in 2018 secured a $10 million judgment against ShopRite in a breach of contract lawsuit. According to court papers, the $10 million judgment was entered in favor of AIC Limited against ShopRite by Justice Lateef Lawa Akakpo of the Lagos State High Court in Ikeja. Displeased with the judgment, ShopRite went on appeal, but it equally lost at the Court of Appeal and has gone to the Supreme Court. In the July 14, 2020 Malfa injunction, a copy of which was obtained by our correspondent, Justice Liman, restrained the judgment debtor first responded and its price from transferring, assigning, charging, disposing of its trademark, franchise, and intellectual property in a manner which alter, dissipate, or remove these non-cash assets and other assets, including but not limited to trade receivables, trade payables, payments for purchases or merchandise, from within the jurisdiction of his honorable court. Two men were reportedly kidnapped by hoodlums on the Ikun-Oba-Akoko Road in the Akoko Southwest local government area of Ondo State on Saturday. The incident occurred barely 5 days after the Ondo State Security Network Agency, also known as Operation Amotekun, was launched in Akure by the state governor, Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu. One of the victims was identified as Surajuddin Alao, but the identity of the second victim had yet to be ascertained. The victims were said to have been abducted while returning to Oba Akoko from Ikun Akoko, where they attended the 2020 Ikun Day. According to a source, the victims were in Alao's car when the kidnappers waylaid them on the road and abducted them to an unknown destination in the forest. The source said the police and their Amotekun patrol teams had been patrolling the area before the incident occurred, but the hoodlums struck, but insecurity agents were not around the scene. The source said the families of the victims had not been contacted by their abductors for possible ransom payment as of Sunday. We have come to the end of the news at 8:30 on PEP Radio. The news was packaged by Adedoinsola Peters, Opempo Abdullahi, and Olusegun Olayemi. I am Rosheedah Abdullahi. Stay tuned. Good morning.
This is PEP Radio for quality entertainment, education, enlightenment, and information. Log on to our website on www.pepradio.com or download our app on Google Play Store. PEP FM Radio.